everyone, Miss Melinda here. Welcome to week 4 of our arts initiative at home. This is the mini and junior acro class for this week. We just want to say thank you guys for tuning in on Mondays and joining us for these online classes. We know it's a weird environment and it's different, but we're so happy that you're joining us and learning and keeping up with your dancing at home. I just want to remind you guys to clear a large space and make sure you have some sort of mat or soft surface if you're trying something new. Don't push yourselves too hard because we don't want to get injured. And if you need help, make sure there's a parent around to help you. Okay, let's get started with a warm-up. Now let's get started with our warm-up, doing 25 jumping jacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And breathe in, and out, and in, and out. And we're gonna put our arms out to the side, and we're gonna reach over to our right side. Good, and stand tall. And now we're gonna reach to our left side. And stand tall. And now with our feet apart, we're gonna reach down to the floor. And we're gonna give a big plie, and stretch, and plie, and stretch, and plie. And we're gonna roll up nice and tall. And arms out again, and reach to your right, and up to your left, and up and down to the floor. Good, and plie, and stretch, and plie, and stretch, and plie, roll up. Good, and we're gonna use our neck. We're gonna look up to the ceiling, and down, and up to the ceiling, and down, and look to your right, and left, and switch, and left, and now tilt to your right, and left, and right, and left. We're gonna drop our head, we're gonna make a big circle, and back, and stop, and down the other way, and stop. And now we're gonna make circles backwards with our shoulders. Big, 2, 3, 4, and then forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're gonna put our feet together, and we're gonna reach up to the ceiling. We're gonna make a flat back with our arms out to the side like an airplane. And we're gonna rise up onto our tippy toes, and lower down, and rise up, and lower down. And then we're gonna reach our fingertips to the floor. And then our knuckles. And then flat hands. And then elbows. Good, and we're gonna put our hands down on the floor and we're gonna bounce for 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and stretch. And bounce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and stretch. Good, and we're gonna walk our hands out into a plank, and we're gonna do 5 push-ups. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're gonna walk our hands back to our feet, and we're gonna sit our bum down onto the floor, and we're gonna go into a butterfly with the bottom of our feet together, and we're sitting up nice and tall. Good, we're gonna push down our right leg. And we're gonna push down our left leg. And we're gonna push down both legs. Good, and we're gonna sit up super tall with our arms up to the ceiling. And we're gonna reach down and put our nose onto our toes. Good, and we're gonna sit up. We're gonna try one more time. Push that right foot down. And left leg. And both knees. And then arms up to the ceiling, nice and tall, and smell your toes. Good, then we're gonna sit up and we're gonna go into a pike with our feet out in front of us and our arms out to the side. And we're gonna flex, and point, and flex, and point, and flex, and point, and flex, and point. Then we're gonna reach our arms up to the ceiling and all the way to our toes. And we're gonna try to get our nose down to our knee, try to kiss our knees. Good, and then we're gonna roll back up, sitting up tall, and arms up to the ceiling, and we're gonna flex our toes this time. And we're gonna grab the bottom of our toes, and we're gonna try to look up to the ceiling with our head. Good, try to keep your knees nice and straight. And then we're gonna point the toes and reach the head down to the knees again. Good, and we're gonna sit up tall. We're gonna open into a straddle. And we're gonna reach over to our right side. Good, and sit up tall. Over to our left side. And up. Then we're gonna turn to face our right leg. We're gonna put our nose down onto our knee and we're gonna reach both our hands on the floor down to our ankle. Good, and sit up tall. And try the other way. Good, and sit up tall. And then we're gonna reach in the middle, keeping our big toes off the ground, reaching our tummies down. Good. Good, and from there, if you can, you're gonna swim through your split and bring your feet together. And then we're gonna arch back with our head, bringing it down towards our bum. And we're gonna pinch our shoulders back together and down. And then we're gonna come down and relax. Good, and we wanna keep our feet not totally together, but not too far apart. And then we're gonna arch again. Good, squeezing those shoulder blades back, making sure our head is looking all the way back and not forward. Then we're gonna bend our knees and try to touch our toes to our head. Good, and then we're gonna stretch our knees and we're gonna bring our body down. And we're gonna just rest it for a second and we're gonna do it one more time. Ready, arch back. And we're gonna bring one arm up over our head and put it down. And then the other arm's gonna come up over our head. And we're gonna try to take both off and squeeze and hold it. Good, and then you can come down when you're ready. Good, then we're gonna curl up into a little ball. Stretch that back out the other way. Good, and we're gonna sit up tall and we're gonna roll our wrists out. Good, and we're gonna roll them the other way. And then we're gonna clasp them together and make a roller coaster. And then we're gonna try to roller coaster the other way. Good, and then we're gonna reach our palms out onto the floor. And we're gonna keep our bum on our heels and our arms are straight. And if you don't feel a stretch through your forearms or the front of your arms, you can move your hands a little bit further away from your knees. But you don't want it to be painful, you just want to feel a nice little stretch. Good, and then we're gonna flip and we're gonna put the back of our hands on the floor. Good, and we're gonna clasp our hands together behind our back. And we're gonna put our forehead on the ground and reach our arms up and over top of our head. Really stretching out those shoulders. Good, and then we're gonna sit up again, and we're gonna take our right arm, and we're gonna put it behind our head, and then we're gonna take our left arm, and we're gonna reach back behind, and we're gonna try to get our fingertips together. I'm gonna show you what that looks like. Good, and if you don't feel a stretch, you're gonna use your bottom hand to try to pull down your top hand. Good, and then you can relax and use the other arm. Gonna go up, and the other one's gonna go behind your back to grab it, and you're gonna pull it down. And if you can't touch your fingertips together, that's okay. You just wanna practice reaching for them. Good, and then you can relax. All right, and now we're gonna go into some strength exercises. So we're gonna start with a 20-second plank. So we're gonna put our hands on the ground and our feet are gonna go behind us, and we're gonna keep our body in a nice flat line. We're gonna hold it for 20 seconds. And we want to do our best not to move and to keep our wrists right underneath our shoulders and to keep our bum down and in a flat, straight line from our shoulder blades to our heels. And we're almost there, just 3 more seconds. And you can come out of that and relax. Good, and then we're gonna move into our Supermans. So we're gonna lie down on our stomach. We're gonna put our arms out in front of us. Now it's really important that we keep our arms tight into our ears and we don't let them go out to the side. So we're gonna lift our hands and our feet off the ground at the same time, and we're gonna put them back on the ground nice and gentle. And we're gonna do 10, so that's 1, then 2, and 3, keeping our knees and arms straight, 4, and 5, and 6, good. The higher we go, the better. And 8, and 9, and on the last one, we're gonna hold it up, 10, squeeze, and then we're gonna do a swimmers, so we're gonna kick our opposite arm and leg, and we're gonna do that for 15 seconds. You can do it, keep going. Good job, guys, 5 more seconds, and then you can relax. Almost there. And relax. Good. Now we're gonna put ourselves into a tabletop position. So we're gonna sit on our bum with our feet out in front of us and our hands underneath our shoulders, and we're gonna lift our bum up into the sky, and we're gonna make sure that our fingertips are pointing down at our heels and that our toes are pointing straight in front of us, so we don't wanna turn out our hips. And then we're gonna do 10 tricep dips. So from here, keeping our bum as high off the ground as we can, we're gonna bend our elbows and stretch them 10 times. 1, 2, and we don't have to do it huge, just little ones. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we can come down. So we should feel that in the back of our arms. Okay, and now we're just gonna finish by going across our space, whatever space you're using, your living room, your bedroom, your washroom, whatever. And we're gonna do some frog jumps. So we're gonna go down to the floor and we jump straight up to the ceiling and then back down. And we make it a little bit harder by going faster. And then we can turn around and come back with that one. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Good. And then the last strengthening exercise we're gonna do today is our crab walks. So we're gonna go forwards across our floor and then we'll come backwards. And we just wanna keep our bum off the ground, okay? So we're working the strength in our arms, and then once we make it across the room, we go backwards. Make sure you don't crash into anything. Keeping that bum nice and high, strong arms, strong legs. And we're done the strengthening exercises. We are going to get started with our tricks, and we're going to do a bridge. So we're gonna lie down on our back, and we're gonna tuck our arms and legs in, and we're gonna push up into our best bridge, trying to stretch those arms. And then from here, we wanna keep our feet and our hands where they are and practice pushing our shoulders or our armpits out and stretching our knees. Yeah, that's really good. You probably won't make it all the way straight, but you just should feel a nice stretch in your back. And then you're gonna tuck your chin in and you're gonna come down. Good. And you can do that a couple more times if you want. You can just pause the video and practice doing your bridge. You really want to make sure that your shoulders are right on top of your wrists and that you are not opening your arms too far apart, because that's going to be a weaker position. And we want to stretch our elbows and get our head as high off the ground as we can in that bridge position. Okay, so let's do one more bridge just to show you. Tucking our arms in, stretching, getting our head up off the ground. And then if we want to, and if we can, we're gonna practice stretching those knees, pushing the shoulders out, and getting into that full bridge, and then coming down. Good, so from here, we're gonna move into a circle bridge. So we start sitting on our bum with our feet out in front of us. And you can pick which arm you want to start with on the ground. You might want to pick your favorite arm or your stronger arm to be on the floor. And then the other arm is going to come up over your head as you look back at the floor, push your hips up and twist back down. And then you can try it the other way as well if you're getting good with one side. So you really want to think about pushing your hips up to the ceiling in a circle bridge and stretching your knees and then looking back at the floor so you know where it is to get that hand down. Let's see it one more time. Hips up, looking back at the floor, hand down, and then opposite comes off, hips up and down. Excellent, so that's a circle bridge. So now we're gonna move into an inside out. So we haven't done this one yet on video, so I am gonna do a little bit more explaining. If you are not ready to move into the harder bridges, then you can go back to some of our other videos from week 1 and week 2, where we do a little bit more explaining of those exercises and work on them a little bit longer, but we are trying to progress in these videos, so we are gonna move a little bit quicker through those. So now we're gonna do an inside out. So we're gonna go into our bridge, and we're flipping from being upside down to being upright on our hands and our feet in what we call a downward dog. And then you can keep going and flipping. So, and then you can go back the other way as well. Okay, so Miss.Brooke is gonna come down and I'm gonna explain a little bit about what we're doing when we're doing an inside out. So when we are in our bridge, we are going to put all of our weight onto one side of our body. So that can be your right side or your left side. And you're going to swivel your hand so that your fingertips are facing the opposite way of what you are normally in a bridge. And then you wanna twist your body over top of your shoulder and then throw both your foot and your leg over top of that side that's staying on the ground. So Brooke's gonna go back up into her bridge and I'm gonna show you that as I say it. So she's gonna put all of her weight on her right side of her body. She's gonna swivel her right hand so that her fingertips are facing me, and then she's gonna bring her left hand and her left foot over top of her right side. Then from here, she's gonna put all her weight into her left hand and left foot, and then she's gonna bring her right foot and right hand over top of her body. She's gonna swivel that hand and she's gonna come into the bridge. So you're transferring your weight from one side of the body to the other side of the body. And if she comes back, watch her hand swivel and then cross everything over top. So you wanna bring it to the ceiling and then over to the floor. Up to the ceiling and then over to the floor. Okay? She's gonna come down and we just, while we're practicing that, pause the video, try it a couple times, rewind if you wanna see it again. And while we're doing that, we wanna make sure that our hands and feet don't get too far apart, or else we're not gonna be in a strong bridge, we're gonna be in a really elongated bridge and we'll be at a higher risk of falling, okay? So if you're ready to move on from these inside out bridges, that's what that's called, then we're gonna go into bridges walking up and down the wall. So from our last video, we know that we wanna stand about an arm's length away from the wall, okay? And then we're gonna reach both arms to the wall at the same time. And we're gonna walk down slowly, one hand, then the other hand, until we get down to the floor. And then we wanna try to push our shoulders up against the wall and then come back up and push off. Okay, and try that again. And once you're getting stronger and stronger with that, you just take less steps to get down the wall. So instead of doing 5 or 6, you can do 2 or 3, up, up, push. And then when you're ready and you think you can do it, we move into doing a bridge from standing and recover in the center. As we do that, we're gonna think about pushing our weight over top of our toes and our hips forward, keeping our knees straight until we can't go any further, and then using our knees to bend and place our hands on the floor. And the first thing that's gonna go back is our head, so we can see the ground, so we can put our hands on it. And then we're gonna rock back and forth a couple times until we're ready to stand up. And we're gonna push those hips forward again over top of our toes. Let's do that one more time, really looking back, reaching for our ankles. And then if you wanna rock, up, up, and squeeze those ears as we come up. Okay? So the last bridge we're gonna do today is a bridge kick over. So if you've been working on these from the other videos and you're feeling confident, we are gonna show you it from the floor today instead of from an elevated surface. So we're gonna push up into our bridge, or if you're ready and confident, you can do it from standing as well. Then we're gonna pick our dominant leg, our stronger leg. We're gonna push it up to the ceiling, over top of our head, and off the ground. There you go. Okay, so let's try that one more time. And we're gonna kick off both feet, almost leaving the ground at the same time. There you go. Okay, and you wanna give it a nice big split over top of your head. And if you're having trouble getting over, if your push is not strong enough, then we can go to that elevated surface. Or I want you to think about using your chin to look up to the ceiling as you're pushing over, and that can sometimes help bring your body down. So we are going to move on from bridges now, and we are going to go into our stands. So we're gonna do a teddy bear stand and a chest stand today. And then we're gonna go into cartwheels, and then we'll finish with a couple walkover variations. So we're gonna start with our teddy bear stand. So we're gonna draw ourselves a triangle, and we're gonna put our head on the point and our hands down at the edges. We're gonna walk our bum to the ceiling and our feet in nice and close. And then we're gonna put one knee on one elbow and the other knee on the other elbow. We're gonna pull our heels into our bum and try to get our bum right over top of our shoulders. And we're just gonna hold that position. Good, so you want your knees resting on your elbows. And if you feel confident with that, you can slowly start to stretch your back and bring your feet into a tuck off of your knees. And you can hold there. And then if you're feeling really strong, you can slowly stretch them up to the ceiling into a full handstand. Okay? And then you can come down. So we wanna do what we are comfortable with. So if you're working on getting those knees up for that teddy bear stand, that's great, that's awesome, keep working on that. If you're working on coming into a tuck, keep doing that. But make sure you're not skipping a step. So as much as we all wanna be able to do straight handstands and make them look really cool, we do have to find that balance first by going through the teddy bear stand and the tuck and then up to the ceiling, okay? Don't skip steps, or we might learn it incorrectly, and we might not strengthen the correct muscles to be able to do it all the time consistently. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna work on is a chest stand. So we start with our knees apart a little and our bum is up off our heels. We're going to lean our shoulders back and push our hips forward as we roll up onto our chest, and we're gonna keep our chin looking forward, and then our feet are gonna come up over our head, and we're gonna try to squeeze. This is a nice, beautiful chest stand, but we can also do it with our toes coming to our head and our knees apart. Sometimes that can be a little bit easier to hold if you're learning this for the first time. So Miss.Brooke is gonna show you how to go straight into toes to head position. So we lean forward, we roll, and our toes come right up over top of our head. Very nice, and then we just roll back out of it and onto our knees. Okay, so this one does put a little bit more pressure on your back flexibility. So make sure you've done a good stretch of that back and you've done all those bridges before going into the chest stand, because we don't want to cause injury at home. And we also want to make sure that we're not turning our head to the side. When we turn our head to the side, we actually turn our spine, and we put ourselves in a position where it is much easier to be injured. So sometimes it can be a little bit more comfortable because we're on our cheek instead of right on our chin. But for safety reasons, we want to make sure we're always up on that chin when we're doing our chest stand. Okay, so we're going to move away from our stands today for this video, and we're going to go into cartwheels. So Brooke is going to show us both sides today. So if you've watched the other videos, we are again going to show you some easier versions, and then we're going to progress through them. So we're going to start just with our regular cartwheel, and this one is to our left side. And we put our hands down. We're going to keep our feet in a nice big split, and then we finish in our L, and then we'll try it to the right side. Again, we're going to keep our feet in a nice big split, hands in a nice L when we finish. Okay, so we should be able to move on from there. If you're still working on those cartwheels, that's okay. Make sure you're thinking about drawing a rainbow with your toes as markers up to the ceiling, over to the other side, and then landing that foot as close to your hands as you can, and making sure our legs are nice and straight and toes are pointed. So now we're gonna do a one-handed cartwheel. So we're gonna put our hand up to our ear, and the other hand's gonna go on our tummy for this one. Again, it's the same exact thing as a cartwheel. We're just not putting that second hand on the ground. So as we go over, we're gonna put that foot as close to our hand as we can, and we're gonna finish with our arms up, and then we're gonna go the other way, nice and strong, keeping that elbow nice and straight, locking our arm, and then finishing in a nice pointed toe. Okay, so that's a good one. If you are working on your one-handed cartwheels and you want to make it harder, if you refer back to our week 2 video, we go over a different way to do one-handed cartwheels with an arm swing. I'm not going to show you those in this video today, but if you are interested in learning those, you can go watch week 2 video for Acro. And then we are going to do a cast over today, so we're going to use the opposite arm as we go into our one-handed. So now when we're going to our left side, we're gonna put our right hand up and our left hand on our tummy. And we're gonna reach that arm close to our toe and push nice and strong, still trying to keep a nice big split, and then we'll go the other way. Reaching, big split, and over. Okay, cool. The next thing we're gonna do is a cartwheel to knee. So our first foot lands on the ground just like a normal cartwheel, and then our second foot takes it down to the knee, and we always start with our L and finish with our L in the arms. So we go over, foot, then knee, and then L, and then we're gonna stand up and try it the other way. We put the foot down, then the knee, good. And we're really gonna use our abs when we bring that knee down so that we don't wobble. We wanna show a nice clean knee. Okay, let's try that one more time, because that's a tricky one. I know it's a new one. Hands, foot, knee. There we go, nice and controlled. Nice L's, hands, foot, knee. Beautiful. So she's gonna stay down, and we're actually gonna practice a cartwheel from our knee. So right now she has her left knee, or her left foot up and her right knee on the ground, and she's gonna make a nice L reaching out towards where she's going, and she's gonna use her left leg. It's gonna be nice and strong. She's gonna start to stand up, she's gonna put her hands on the ground, and she's gonna finish standing in that one, and then she'll go down to her right foot on the ground, left knee, nice L. She starts to stand up, puts the hands down, big push, and finishes standing. Okay, so I do think that's a new cartwheel variation for you guys that we can work on. So again, we are just gonna show you once, and you can go back and watch that multiple times if you need to, but you are starting in the same position that you end the cartwheel to knee with. So you can do them back to back. You can go cartwheel to knee and then cartwheel from your knee right away in the opposite direction. Okay, these are just fun ones that we can practice at home. They really help with our core strength, our abdominal muscles, and our leg muscles as we're using that foot to stand up into the cartwheel. So we are going to finish today. We're gonna do a front over, a straddle over, a front walk over, and a back walk over. These are more advanced skills, so if you haven't done them before in class with some help, I do encourage you to be very careful, especially depending on how much space you have. If you wanna ask a parent to watch you or help you, I'll describe some ways that that can be done. So we're gonna start with a front over, which is where we kick into a handstand, we let our feet fall into a back arch, and we recover, handstand, back arch, recover. So if you haven't done this before and a parent or an older sibling is going to help you, what they should do is they should put their arm out and catch your back when you kick up into the handstand. So they should have their arms holding on to the middle section of your back so that when you arch, they are there to keep you from falling, and then they can help you up. So let's see it one more time. We kick into a handstand and we're so controlled, very quiet landing, and we squeeze and we stand up, and those arms come right up to those ears as you saw Miss.Brooke do there. Okay, so now we're gonna move into a straddle over. So we're gonna start with our feet apart. Not too wide apart, but a little bit more than your hip width. And you're gonna put your arms out in front of you. You're gonna plie, you're gonna put your hands on the ground. Then at the same time, you're gonna kick both feet out to the side into a straddle and squeeze them up to a handstand, and then arch, put your feet on the ground and stand up just like a front over. So I'm gonna give you a different angle so you can see what it looks like. So both feet have to push off the ground at the same time into a nice straddle, and then squeezing in your handstand up to the ceiling before you arch. So let's see it. We go down, plie, push, up, over, and stand up. Yeah, that was a nice one. If you wanna make that harder, you can start with your feet together. So it's a little bit further that you have to go in your straddle, but it's the same thing. Your arms start out, you do a plie, you push off the ground, both feet at the same time, and you come up. Good. So now we're gonna go into a front walk over, and Miss.Brooke is gonna show us both legs because she is an advanced acrobat. So she's starting with her right foot, she steps forward, big split, she arches that back, and then she's gonna take her right toe, she's gonna reach it out to the wall as she stands up, and she's gonna push her hips forward and squeeze her arms to her ears. So now she's gonna show us her left foot. So she reaches out with her arms, big split, arch, and squeeze. Let's see that on both sides. And reach out, push, squeeze, and left side again. Reach out, squeeze, good. Now, if you are having trouble with controlling this, one thing I want you to practice is doing a front walkover into a bridge with your foot up to the ceiling. So this is gonna show you if you're using the proper core strength to stand up nicely out of your front walkover. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do the first half of a front walkover, and when your first foot, so if you're using your right leg, when your left foot touches the ground, you're gonna stay in that bridge with your right toe pointing to the ceiling, and you're not gonna let it drop. You're gonna squeeze. And if you can hold that position nice and controlled, then you're ready to move on into actual front walkovers. So test yourself. If you're struggling and you're not getting up, then that's a good way to see if that left foot is landing in the right spot and you have your weight placement and the correct core muscles engaged. Okay, so she's gonna show you that one more time. So you're gonna kick, you're gonna do a nice split, you're gonna land that foot on the ground with the other one up to the ceiling, and you're just gonna squeeze and hold, show that strength, and then you can come down. I would not try to stand up from that position. It's not gonna happen for you. It's gonna be very, very difficult, and it's gonna be a little discouraging, so just come down and then try the full front walkover again. So she's just gonna show us one more time. Nice big front walkover, arch, and up. Good. All right, thank you. Great job, everyone. That's gonna be the end of our Acro class for today. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us again this week. We hope you've learned something new or are working on something that you've been struggling with, and we can't wait to see it in class. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.